All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Today is a little bit different than most. So obviously with the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving this week, at least when I'm filming this video, I'm going to try to get it out as soon as possible out to you guys. But with Thanksgiving coming up, Black Friday, things like that, what is going to be the number one thing is everyone's got that family member that's into fishing. I'm presuming if you're watching this video at least, that you had that family member that's into fishing, and there's always that one question of what do we get them? What do I get my angler to go through and help them out, aid them? I got my pups here. She's down below, Nova, super nosy little 4-month-old. She's a cutie. Let's bring her up into this. Here she is. Here she is. Little cutie, so super nosy. Yeah, so more than likely, if you clicked on this video, it's because you have an angler, a family member of some sort. You're trying to do something special for them, trying to do something unique for them, and something that they would actually want. This is hopefully going to help you out with deciding a perfect gift for my significant other, family member, relative, whoever it is, that fisherman, or man or woman in your life. So starting right out, number one, this is probably the best thing you could ever get someone, right? Is a quality pair of pliers. The reason why I bring this up is because a quality pair of pliers goes a long way. These guys have a split ring piece to it right up at the top. I do believe these are aluminum or some sort of titanium or some sort of higher grade metal to where they don't rust. I've had these for like a year or so. You can see some somewhere on the inside, but these are a great pair of pliers. Why is this an important buy for it? This is by Calcutta. That's this brand particular. I'll probably link a lot of these guys down below. Why is it important to have a nice pair of pliers? Well, for obvious reasons. I can snip line with this. I can do split rings on different baits, and I can also just unhook fish. So great tool. Have that linked below. Next up is going to be a good set of jig heads. Whether your angler uses jig heads or not, like higher quality jig heads or not, they're always going to want them. Because if they use a jig head and they use the cheap stuff, if you get the higher quality jig heads, it's just going to have a better hook on there. It's going to be stronger. They're not going to lose that fish of a lifetime. But oftentimes, if they're cheap or cheaper, like a lot of anglers may be out there, they may get the cheaper ones where they bend out. The fish may actually break them. They rust out. They rust a lot faster, things like that. So having a quality pair, a quality set of jig heads, you can get them in a variety of sizes. This is a Z-Man brand. Their 1/4 ounce is a big common one. That will be linked below as well. So next up would be a topwater. So for me personally, this is outside of the season, but a lot of people still will use these for trout during the winter time here in North Carolina. But a topwater, particularly the Rapala Skitterwalk, is one of my favorites. This is a go-to for me all summer long. I will throw this so much. So it's a $10 bait or $11 bait, depending on where you get it most of the time. Very inexpensive, great stocking stuffer right there. Next up on our list is going to be Procure. Procure is amazing in the fact that you can get this whole bottle here. I stick with inshore salt water. I have some of the other variations. Those work well as well, but the big thing is by sticking with inshore salt water, this will be something that they can use every single time. And the cool thing is that this will be something that they will always need because of the fact that obviously they go out there, they put this stuff on their bait, and it's a nice scented presentation to the fish. So they will use this and will need this replaced. So this is always something that can be on the list, even for birthdays and stuff like that. Next up, we're going to move right into deck cleaner. So this is a great one, Starbright. If your fisherman or woman has a boat and they have non-skid or they don't have carpet, if they don't have carpet in their boat, this is going to be the go-to, which most of us saltwater guys don't have carpet in our boat. So this is going to be perfect for them to use on their boat to help clean. Also, just like the Procure, this is going to be something that they will need to replace fairly frequently. So great stuff right there. moving right along here is going to be a good quality tackle tray. So it does not have to be this particular brand of Busby, or yeah, Busby. They're pretty good. They're very solid, very durable brand. These guys are about indestructible. You could throw these at stuff. Literally, I think there was a video one time that they shot it with like some sort of 410 shotgun or something like that. So durable stuff. The reason why this is important is some of those cheaper tackle trays will break, if you toss them around in the boat, or if they're just getting jostled around from driving around, they will break, and it allows water and other things to get in there, which allows for that rust to get in there, which is no good when you spend a lot of money on your tackle. So quality trays, always a must, and they usually will have to replace these over certain periods of time. They're not a perfect system. So no matter how much you spend on it, eventually they will need new ones. So getting them maybe a kit or a couple different sizes of these, great buy for your family member. Next up will be a good quality net. So whether your angler has a net or not, if they do not have one of these rubber meshed nets, it is a must have. Why is that important? If you are using a topwater or any multi-treble hook bait, those hooks are going to get stuck in this net. So they just get stuck a lot less in this net versus this cheaper net. This cheaper net is obviously a lot cheaper, but you are somehow, those treble hooks always find a way into the nylon, and it makes for a pain in the butt of not only unhooking the fish and getting the fish out of the net again, but also going through and unhooking the bait and the hooks from the net itself. So buying a quality net for them, they will always appreciate it. It will make it so whenever they catch those fish, they can get back into fishing so much faster because they're not messing around with getting hooks out of their net. This particular one is the Yak Attack. It's more of a kayak brand. It does not need to be this fold-out kayak brand. I have this one because I have it from my kayak, and I just use it on my boat as well. Both these really great stuff, but a quality net will always be appreciated, especially if it's one of these rubber nets. So great one from Yak Attack there. Next up, we're going to go to a Yeti Bucket. I know that this is probably a little bit much for people as far as not necessarily needing a Yeti Bucket. I have found that I never thought I would be a Yeti Bucket owner, honestly. Just the boat brand that I bought with Explore Boatworks, they actually have a specialty bucket spot on the polling platform, which allows me to store this bucket. These things just come in handy for so many things. They can put a cast nets in here. They can put bait in here if they're off the deck of the boat and they don't want to put the bait right into the live well right away. They can put shrimp in here. We use this for catching shrimp. We'll throw the shrimp in here and leave it in here until we get enough to dump it into a different bucket. Or if you got multiple anglers cast netting for shrimp or doing something for shrimp, they may need multiple different ways that they can put and empty their cast net. So I've also put bait in here to unthaw. I've put crab bait in here, all sorts of stuff, really great stuff. I always encourage grabbing a lid of some sort. There's also the trash can one. So if they want to use it more of a designated trash can, it's just like a mesh overlay that go over this. Some really great stuff, but never thought I'd need a bucket so much. But since having it, it has been instrumental in the idea of having a trash can, bait holder, bait thawer, for all sorts of various things. So really great stuff there. Moving on, next is going to be more of the cold weather area. So obviously now we're going into late fall to winter time frame. When that happens, obviously the cold weather gear is a must. So I'm going to start off first and foremost is a set of base layers. So this right here, this particular one is an actual Under Armour base layer that most people would use at different sporting events. This thing is amazing. Getting really good quality ones of these, this thing is amazing though. Getting really good quality ones of these will help you out with staying warm. Man, those dogs, I swear. Mind the audio for my dogs, I guess, but these guys will make it so staying warm in the wintertime will be a lot easier and way more attainable by having a top and a bottom. And even if they have these, guess what? You can't ever find them the morning of, so having multiple of these is never a bad thing as well. Next up would be a pair of quality fishing gloves. Quality fishing gloves, very, very important. The reason why is these guys are actually fingerless. I actually have to clean these up. I use these at a recent fishing trip. Fingerless, so you can still tie some of the smaller stuff, but it's actually made by a fishing brand. These are Sims. I like that brand because obviously they're fishermen, and that's why they have good fishing products. If you just get a generic pair of gloves, odds are they're not going to focus on the idea that it needs to be weatherproof, the idea that they can't have anything snagging up on here, or else you get line, you'll get all sorts of stuff that might snag up on there, as well as just having some quality gloves. Great thing to keep your hands warm. I can also there's enough space in this hand portion that I will also go through and take a hand warmer, stuff it in there, and it works great as a nice little spot to keep the hands warm right in the palm of your hand. So perfect thing there. Last but not least, we have ourselves a good rain jacket, right? So this particular brand's by Huck. The reason why I don't mind if it's got an insert or not, depending on your region of the country, having an insert may or may not be important. The reason why is with this brand here, if it's a little bit bigger than me, you know, if I'm a large, I might do an extra large as long as it's not crazy big on them, because it allows me to put all sorts of under layers. I can put this on there. I can put a long sleeve on there. And then I can put a thicker long sleeve, a sweatshirt on top, and maybe even one of those zip up Colombian kind of inserts, and then just put this over top. But it allows me to remove layers as needed and still throw on a very windproof. So if I hop on a boat, if I hop on the motor and start driving, it allows me to put that windproof outer shell on. Next up and lastly is going to be a good pair of bibs. Why is a good pair of bibs important? Because bibs are great. This allows me to put one of those base layers on underneath and then put a pair of any sort of sweatpants or something like that that I have. I can put those underneath, throw these on top. No one even knows that I'm in sweatpants, even when I go back to the grocery store afterwards when I'm grabbing something to eat after fishing. So really great stuff. I'm going to try to link as much of this stuff at the in the description below, so you guys can grab it from the Amazon store there, or as long as they have it. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped you guys out with trying to find a perfect gift for your family member or friend or whoever it is, to help them get some quality gear that they need and that they want, but aren't really willing to tell you. That being said, if you have not already, please check out this video right here as well as the video right below it. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, fish now, worry later.